This video quickly covers the very basics of HTML that we learned about in class last Thursday, September 20th, 2018. We will learn how to add text, how to add an image from either an internet location or an image saved to the same location as our HTML file. Then we will learn how to format our text and our image elements. So let's start off here. I have a very basic HTML file named index.html. It's a significant name, which we'll learn about why that's significant later when we use a server to send out our HTML files. But for now, we'll just be opening them from local file locations. So let's first have a look and see what it actually looks like when we open it up in a web browser. So I can right click on it and go open with Chromium. And here's what pops up. Take note of two things. At the top here on the tab where it says blah, and then what it says in the main page, I am the content. And also notice that it's already been zoomed in so you can see it better. So let's switch back and have a look and see what the HTML file actually contains that tells the web browser what to put in there. So I'm going to right click and go open with, and I'm going to use Atom to edit it. Okay, so I'm just going to close these extra tabs that we don't need to see. So let's look for the two things that we noticed from the thing. Here's blah that we noticed was on top of the window in the tab, and then here's where it says I'm the content. So any part of our HTML file has to be wrapped in a pair of tags. So the entire thing is HTML, so we're going to wrap it in an HTML tag. So we'll notice at the top here HTML, and then a closing tag slash HTML. Then the next portion is our head. Our head is not stuff that you see in the main area on your web pages. So notice here's our title, that goes in our head, and that we don't see in the main part, but we see it at the top of our page. And also in your head you can give the pages information about language and other things like that. And then the main part of our page is going to be in the body. And then any text we put in there is going to be displayed in the main part of our web browser, unless we wrap it in a special tag, which we'll see for images in just a little bit. So the first tag to notice is the P tag, and that stands for paragraph. So if we want to add another paragraph on our page, we can just add another line and another if we save that and go back over to our web page, refresh that, we get another paragraph. We can add other body type elements. We can have headers. And you'll see how that is displayed differently. Whoops. I forgot to close that properly, and it made everything a header. So now we can see we've made that bigger just by calling it a header. We'll learn a lot more about style later on. So let's jump into adding an image. So first let's find an image. So let's do first an image from an internet location. And I'm going to use one of the images from the Old Sun Community College webpage. So let's go to our webpage. And so let's use this image up here. I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to get the address. So I'm not going to save it to my files. I'm just going to get the address of it and then tell our page to go out and look to that address to get the image when it loads the page. So let's put that page down here. Excuse me. And the image tag takes all of the arguments into just the tag up front. So we'll start off with image, and then we're going to tell it where the source is. We abbreviate that src equals, and then in quotes we paste that address that we found from the internet. Let me zoom back out so you can see it. And then we need alternative text to display if it doesn't work. I'm just going to say Old Sun logo. Okay, and then we can just close that off. And so if everything fits in the tag and we don't have any text in between it, we can just put the slash at the end of it and close it off without adding a second tag like we did with the paragraph and header tags. So if we save that, go back to our page, refresh it, and there we go, it puts that in there. So we didn't tell it how big to make it, so it just makes it as big as the original image, which usually is not. You usually don't want to display images at their original. You want to make them a specific size. So we'll learn about that in just a few minutes after we learn about making adding an image from a local location. So let's find another image. This time we're going to download it and save it to the same place as we put our HTML file. So let's just search Sixica, go to images, and let's pick this one here. So when you get to the page that has it, just right click on it, go save image as, and I'm going to save this into the same location as I put that page we're working on. So I'll just save that there. We go here, now we can see it's in the same thing. Oops. So I'm just going to do this so I can copy the whole name, cancel, and go back here. Okay. Let's start off image the same way again. It seems out it's in exactly the same location. We can just paste in the file name without any further path. Again, an alternate. And close it off and save. Go back to our blah page, reload, and there's our two images. Okay, so like I mentioned a minute ago, it's not likely that this is the size that we want it. So at the end of a line, we can add height and width tags. And you don't have to specify both. If you specify one, it will keep the aspect ratio and scale the other side so the picture still looks the same, but it conforms to the dimension that you told it. So let's say we want height to be set to a certain height, and let's just call it 100. Now these are going to be in pixels, so we can save it and then reload and see what it did. Okay, so that's way smaller than we wanted. let's say about 300. And reload. Okay, so like I said, you can specify both height and width. But unless you know exactly the ratio of them. Okay, so we set the height and width the same on both of these. And we can see it looks funny because it was never meant to be a square. It meant to be wider than it was high. So let's get rid of the width. And let's make the height of our Siksika image the same. Okay, there we go. One note on the Oldsun logo, it looks like this is higher, but there's a bunch of white space down here. So keep that in mind when you're working with images, that if you see a bunch of white somewhere, it might actually be still be part of the image. One useful tag is a line break tag. Let's say we wanted these two images to be on different lines. We can simply add a BR tag. So BR slash, and that's treating it as if it was blocks of text, say. Now later on we can set images and locations of other things to exactly where we want them, but as it's treating it here, it's just treating it in a linear flow. So every time there's an element that needs a new line, it'll go to a new line. Otherwise it just carries on as if it was text. Okay, so now let's have a look at formatting our text. Let's say that we want to make our first paragraph a different size. So any text styling or formatting we're going to put within a style tag. So within the opening tag of whatever we're working in, we'll put a style is equal, and then we're going to put a string in quotes that tells the web browser how to format the text. So let's just start off with the size. So let's say we want to make this lots bigger. So we can start off with font size. Sorry, that should be font dash size, a colon, and then the size we want it. And let's go with 300, and we can enter that in percent. We'll save that, go back here, and that made that 3 times as big. Another useful element, another useful format is to set the color of it. So color colon, and you can do one of two ways. There's lots of colors that just have names, so red, green, blue, and there's a whole bunch of others. If you care to search them on the internet, just search HTML colors and you'll find a list of them. Another way to do it is to use a hex code which tells the web browser just how much of each color that you want to use. So let's just place this random color in, and then see what happens. Oops. Yeah, okay, so you can see that's kind of a green color. If you want the colors, like I said, just HTML, colors. And yeah, so there's a bunch of different ones. Dodger blue, gray, let's try tomato. Okay, so there's a tomato color. Also, another useful one is the background color. So let's apply that to our next one. Style is equal to background color. let's just call that light blue. You can see that applied the background to that last paragraph. Okay, so what about our actual font? We can change the font of the whole thing. We can change the font of just sections. So let's have a look and see how it works if we want to set the font for everything in our body to the same thing. So again, same style tag within the body. Style is equal to and then a string, and if we want to set the actual font, it's called font family. Now different web browsers support different ones. There's common ones, so search them up, but let's say Courier. That's a pretty safe one. And if we just hang on a second. There's Courier, what we're already using. Let's try Arial and see if that changes it. Am I spelling it wrong? Okay. Do we need to? Okay, anyways, we will revisit that the next time around, or I'll post a note on that about what's going wrong here. So until next time, we'll see you later.